Welcome to the Chef's Kitchen. I'm your host, Nicole Gaffney, and joining me in the kitchen today is Chef Michael Adams of 1741 on the Terrace, located at the historic Hotel Bethlehem. What are we making today, Chef?
We are going to make a lovely Duck Confit Wonton with a nice sherry vinaigrette and some sunflower sprouts.
Sounds wonderful.
Yeah.
Let's get started.
We're going to start off with the curing process of the duck.
So that's how a duck confit starts, and you make this totally in-house?
We do. We buy the ducks in whole, and so we'll break them down, and then we take the necks, and we'll make tortellini, and we take the livers, and we make pâté, and we do the legs, and we do the breast, and we do the bones, and so we use the whole thing. Today, we're just going to take the legs, and we're going to make a nice little appetizer.
Great.
So for the curing process, so it's going to do two things. It's going to pull some of the water out of the protein, and then also it's going to impart flavor into the protein, right?
Wonderful.
So we're going to start off with a little brown sugar.
Okay. Now, when you say pulls water out of the protein, does that...
So that's the salt, right? So it's what's going to happen is what happens when you take water out of something, it concentrates the flavor, right?
Ah, gotcha.
Right. So, and it's also, you know, back in the day, it was used to preserve the duck.
Absolutely,
right?
of course.
So it's doing multiple things. So, and we're going to just take kosher salt, the brown sugar, and today we're going to do a little fennel seed.
Nice.
Little thyme.
And that's just dried thyme.
Dried thyme, yeah.
Would you use fresh here, or does it not matter?
Yeah, so we're going to use fresh in the cooking process. In the curing process, we're just going to use dry. And then we're going to use a little lemon zest.
Lovely.
And what you need to do with this is prep it a day before.
Okay.
And leave this curing process go a minimum of 12 hours. So the longer you let this go, so you don't want to go over 24.
Okay.
Right? Because what's going to happen, it's going to get dry, and your result is going to be like jerky.
Yeah, we don't want that.
So you want to go 12 to 24 hours, and just spread this evenly.
Okay. Now, the duck confit itself is going to take quite a bit of time to prepare. So how much time do you realistically need to set aside if you want to make this at home?
So the first day, I would say an hour.
Okay.
Right? And then the second day, it's mostly the curing and the cooking time. Right? So that's where all the prep is literally 10 minutes.
All right. But then you're looking at about 2 full days until it's ready?
Correct.
Okay.
So the second day, you're gonna, you want to set yourself some time aside, like 2.5 hours to 3 hours.
All right.
For the cooking process. But you want to always put the flesh side down, right? Because that's where you want the flavor to go.
Okay.
So just press it down like this.
It smells great. The lemon zest and the fennel.
Yeah,
really fragrant.
This is going to be really intense flavor on the for the appetizer.
Nice.
So we're just going to put that in the refrigerator overnight.
Okay. Now, is this how you always prepare your duck confit, with these same seasonings, or do you switch it up?
So no, we do multiple. Depending on the application.
I see, because you use it quite a bit in the restaurant.
Right, so if we use it on a salad, we
Right.
want to do something a little more neutral, because you're going to have the flavors from the vinaigrette,
Right.
in the salad. But in savory dishes, it could be something like this and fennel, or we may do something like star anise and cinnamon, and
Get
again,
really exotic with it.
depending on the dish.
Okay.
So we can, and that always evolves. We're always trying new things. So
Cool.
Otherwise, it gets boring, right?
It sure
if you
does.
do the same thing over and over.
That is true. So I understand you have quite a bit of new things happening at historic Hotel Bethlehem, most notably the new conference center.
We do. It is 5,000 square feet. It is a corporate conference center.
Very nice.
We have the grand room it seats 80 people, and then we have small 5 breakout rooms.
Perfect.
So if we have a large conference and they want to have breakouts of 12 to 15 people,
Right.
we have that available. And then, the food that we do is very simple, but we do breakfast and lunch there.
Perfect.
And then after they're done their conference, they could always come to the hotel and have dinner in the tap room and our craft beer and our wine.
Cocktails.
We get a couple cocktails.
Wonderful wine and craft beer list you guys have.
And our happy hour. So
It's a great happy hour.
So we have so many things going on. There are so many options at the hotel at every level, from corporate to weddings to, parties, birthday party.
And you're always changing up the menu.
Always changing the menu, which I'm excited about this spring.
Stay tuned for more when we return to the Chef's Kitchen. We now return to the chef's kitchen.
You know, speaking of the hotel, we, obviously we have our outdoor dining.
Of course.
And our ice cream shop.
Now let's talk about the ice cream shop for a minute. So you moved across the street now, so it's bigger and better.
We have outgrown the space that we had inside the hotel, so we moved across the street.
Very popular ice cream parlor.
And we have about 24 seats in there. We have the ice cream waffles, and we have hot chocolate, and we have selection of different candy.
Awesome.
And
it's such a cool little spot. One of the best places on Main Street, I have to say.
It certainly is.
And then the gift shop has expanded.
The gift shop has expanded.
And there's so many cool little things in there. It's not your typical hotel gift shop, which is why I love it. Every time I'm in town, I have to go in there and check out what they have. They have cute little women's accessories and fashions and things. So
yeah, so it's we have something for everyone.
You absolutely do. And I love that you can purchase in the gift shop some of the things that you've seen throughout the hotel, like the room spray, the room scent that they use, you can buy to take home with you, and even the paintings that are throughout Hotel Bethlehem, you can purchase prints. Like, there's lots of little attention to detail like
the
that.
The star
really,
wine glasses.
Yes, exactly.
The Bethlehem star wine glasses
exactly, the
in there.
Star.
So yeah, they have a really nice selection.
So much attention to detail. It's really well done.
All right, so we have the Duck Confit mix, and we have the fresh thyme, the Duck Confit. We're gonna add a little bit of goat cheese.
Yum. So very French here, just across the board.
Absolutely. Why not? We're gonna add a little more goat cheese, and we're just going to gently, don't use too much. You know, goat cheese is strong, right? So don't use too much.
It's all about balance.
It's all about balance. You know, if you wanted to, you can take a small scoop of the duck fat, put that in there. If you're into duck fat.
Why not?
So
are we going to fry these in duck fat?
We are going to fry these in duck fat.
That's amazing.
Right? And as it should be, right?
Exactly.
Why are you going to add something else when you have duck fat? All right, so now we're going to take so when you're working with wonton wrappers, just when you pull them out, keep them covered with a damp cloth.
Okay,
because
they'll dry out.
They will dry out. Yep, absolutely. So we're going to start off, dust your surface with a little cornstarch.
Okay.
So this is going to prevent any moisture from the duck confit. If you get a soft spot with too much moisture, you're going to have what I call a blowout.
Okay.
Right? And so the wonton will explode and then it just...
That's terrible.
Yeah, that's terrible.
No fun.
And I'll keep my fingers crossed that we'll be able to do that effectively when we're frying it in the duck fat.
I have confidence in you. Now, why cornstarch and
why
not
cornstarch?
flour?
So cornstarch it's going to absorb more of the moisture, essentially. So it just takes on moisture better.
Gotcha.
Yep. That one is a little ripped, so...
We don't want to use that.
We don't
want to blow out.
Right, we don't want to blow out. So here is the... All right, so we're just going to take a little bit of the mixture. So the other thing with this is when you're making them, you have a tendency to want more.
Yeah.
Right? So don't overstuff the wonton because... Again, you're gonna,
it'll just come to hurt you.
Yeah, it's gonna hurt you in the end.
Okay.
So why hurt when you can heal?
Right.
Right?
This is all about healing.
So, so we're gonna take this mix here.
That really is a small amount. I would definitely put more than that in if I was doing these on my own.
Well, you know what I would recommend?
What?
Buying a spring roll wrapper.
Okay.
And then you can make spring rolls.
They're a little bigger?
They're a little bigger, right? So it's not as much work.
Right.
You got to make a lot more of these.
That's true.
But you can certainly make a spring roll with these.
Okay.
All right? All right, and then we're going to seal it with a little bit of egg wash.
All right.
We're going to just seal up the wonton with the egg wash.
All right.
Okay, so we're just going to dip. If you have a pastry brush, use a pastry brush.
Okay.
I'm just doing it this way. It's faster, right? So you just want to do those two sides. And we're going to fold this over. Try not to get the cornstarch in between, right? And just push that down and go along the edge.
Okay.
And try to push up against the duck meat. Push that air out of it.
Gotcha.
Right?
You don't want any air bubbles.
Correct. So we're just going to press that and then down on the bottom corner. You can leave them like this or you can just do that, right?
Nice.
Right?
Very cute.
So, yeah, if you want to do the other one there, that's great. Little egg wash and then fold. Try not to get the cornstarch on there.
How am I doing?
Fantastic. Perfect. Wow, they're better than mine. You are
well,
good.
I don't know. I got to get the air bubbles out.
You really know what you're doing in this kitchen, don't you?
I mean, it's not my first rodeo. Okay.
All right.
And
then just fold it. Yep. And just put a little egg. You have a little egg on the end
let me
there.
get a little bit more.
Yep. And then press those.
Cool.
All right.
Easy.
So now we're gonna test the temperature. We're just gonna dip the edge of the wonton in. So that's perfect.
Okay. So just want tiny little bubbles?
Yep. So we're gonna turn up the heat at this point, because what's gonna happen is when we add the wonton to the oil, it's gonna reduce the temperature of the oil. So you just wanna
So you always want to make sure that your oil's staying at the same temperature.
Correct.
It's a great tip.
And right in the duck fat, huh?
Perfect.
Again, rice bran oil.
Okay, so just supplement with another neutral oil.
You can add to it, do half and half. You can do clarified butter, right? So any of those things will work.
Okay, great.
All right.
And it's okay that there was all that cornstarch on the outside that just gets them crisp.
Yep.
Perfect. Stay tuned for more when we return to the chef's kitchen. We now return to the chef's kitchen. Now, I don't know, do you remember whose was whose?
Well, I think the perfect one was mine, wasn't it?
I was going to say that
no,
was
that
probably
was your,
mine, yeah. Well.
All right, so we don't have to cook these too long.
Okay.
Now, and the other thing is, you don't want to have the temperature. You got to really regulate the temperature at this point, right? Because you don't want them to explode.
Yes.
So we're going to turn that
We
down a little
do
bit.
not want a blowout.
No blowouts.
Not here. Not on the chef's kitchen.
Yeah, so we're just going to wait for those to finish up here. And
are you looking for them to turn color, or how can you tell they're done?
See how they're turning dark brown around the edge?
Just a little golden.
Yep.
Okay. Nice. They're so crisp.
All right. So now we're just going to take a little bit of sunflower sprouts.
Okay.
And just take a little bit of the vinaigrette.
And the sunflower sprouts, of course, you get locally.
Yeah, so we use this farm called Groff's Farm, and they're in not too far from the hotel. And they'll do they're actually growing microfennel for us.
Nice.
Amaranth, sunflower, peach, tendrils. I mean, they just do sprouts. So
all the microgreens.
Yeah,
beautiful.
And that's all they do. So they're really great quality. So we're just going to take a little bit of, so what we did is roasted some pistachios.
Nice.
And we're just going to chop those up, and we're going to lightly dust the sunflower sprout. And take our wontons.
What a nice little appetizer, especially for spring.
Now, if you have, again, pea tendrils will work for this. You can use arugula, would go really nice with the goat cheese and the duck confit and the pistachios. And a little more of the vinaigrette.
Okay. Just on the bottom there so they don't get soggy?
Just a little bit, yep.
Perfect.
And then a little more dusting of the pistachio.
Awesome. I'm going to bring this over to the table so we can taste them. All right, well, before we dig in, Bartholomew is going to pour us some of this beautiful rosé.
Absolutely. It's from South Africa. It's called Secateurs, made by Ali Badenhorst, and you can see it's got a screw top, which is always nicer to have a quick screw when you get back from work than use a corkscrew. And here we are.
It's a lovely color.
Rosé.
Thank you.
And my company, Broadbent Selections, specializes in small family wine producers who are making exceptionally high quality wine as naturally as possible. And
it smells like summer.
well, summer in Europe or summer in America?
I don't care where. It smells good.
Cheers.
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 Don't waste any time.
It's got a nice, dry, slightly sort of rich, oily character texture, which is going to go really well with the wonton.
Yeah, it's nice and fruity. Makes me want to have another sip.
Long aftertaste. It's very Moorish. Do you know what Moorish is?
Not in terms of wine, I don't.
It means you want more of it.
Okay. Well, great. Well, let's dig in now. How do you suggest we do this? With
Oh yeah, we're just gonna
fingers?
go and we're
Perfect.
gonna
I was hoping you'd say that.
Yeah.
That duck fat.
And then try it with the wine. So one of the great things about food and wine pairings is you can have any wine with any food, but what makes a great food and wine pairing is when it makes both the wine and the food even better as a combination and creates a new thing altogether. So Michael's produced this, the winemakers produced that, but this is a new, completely new sensation.
You're so right about that, and the crisp acidity of the wine that cuts through that duck fat is perfect.
Yes.
I'm a big fan of both of these.
Very nice.
All right, well, let's toast one more time.
All
It was a
right.
pleasure having both of you on the show today.
Thank you.
Bringing us some amazing food and amazing wine. It's what we're all about here on the Chef's Kitchen.
Oh, and we're sponsoring your music festival, so you can have this wine then, can't we?
That is right.
Fantastic.
So we have Music Fest in August, and a lot of this, this wine is going to be at
Perfect.
Music Fest and available at Music Fest, and we have 1 million people that come into town
It's
that
an
year.
awesome event.
So,
Looking forward to that as well. Thank you again to Historic Hotel Bethlehem. Thank you to Broadbent Selections. This has been a pleasure.
it's always a pleasure working on the Chef's Kitchen. The crew here is fantastic, very professional, and we get to drink wine and eat food, and what can be better than that?
Is that an island?